Someone's not happy. I remember those days, must have woke up from the nap finally, the poor guy. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Rabbi Mark Goldfarb, the rabbi of Temple Beth Or, and on behalf of the Horowitz family, it's a pleasure to welcome you all to our Shabbat afternoon and Joseph becoming a bar mitzvah. Today, Joseph will lead us in our worship service and celebrate the joys and the richness of Jewish tradition and even give us a little bit of a teaching. He will be our rabbi for the day, so I'm going to head out and find something else to do. No. I'm joined by our cantor, Ariel Goldfarb, our accompanist, Dr. Ray Irwin, who is here, and Captain Video, Phil Carey, is maintaining a lovely video of the event this afternoon. And so I encourage us to resist the temptation to take out our cell phones and take pictures of Joseph and what's taking place. There are videos, there's a photographer who's here, and I'm sure that Alex and Chrissy will be more than happy to sell you photos of the event. Proceeds to go to the Joseph College Fund, I would believe. In a moment, we will begin our worship service, but first let us check our cell phones and other devices of communication. Now's a great time to make sure they are switched to the off or the silent position so that we might share this time without interruption. You will find a prayer book either for those of you brave enough to sit in the front row, under the seat in front of you, under your seat, for the rest of us under the seat in front of you. And one of the first things you might notice is that, well, the book seems to open backwards. For those of you unfamiliar with Hebrew, Hebrew is a language that is read from right to left. And so when you open the book, as you would normally, and you think you've reached the end of the service, just turn it the other way around because we're not done yet. We'll be starting in a moment. The Hebrew is printed on the page as well, and alongside that you will find it transliterated into English characters, so you can follow along. However, the prayer book that Joseph is using does not have the transliteration. It only has the Hebrew and the English. Otherwise, why would we need to have our students come for 4 years on a Wednesday afternoon to Hebrew Lab to learn how to read Hebrew if they could just read the English transliteration? So I wanted you to put your mind at ease. He's really reading the real stuff this afternoon. Shabbat is our time to celebrate creation, to take a break from the doings of our lives so that we might instead focus on being a human being. So much of our week is spent moving from task to task, email to email, a text message to text message, chore to chore. We seldom have time just to sit and to be with our thoughts, to think about what we have experienced, and more importantly, to reconnect with family, with friends, with religious traditions, and with God. Shabbat is our time to do that. We hit the pause on the hectic pace of life so that we might welcome this time, time of family, time of friends, time of creation, so that we might become more a part of the world, instead of trying to control it, to just be with the world. And thus we greet Shabbat. This afternoon, with the singing of Cantor, Hinei Ma Tov, on page 10 in your prayer books. You will find the words at the top of the page, words from Psalms, Hinei Ma Tov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad, how beautiful it is when people choose to dwell together like brothers and like sisters.
Shabbat Achim Gam Yachad.
I'd like to invite Joseph's grandparents, Charlie and Joanne Barlow, and Dave and Barbara Nurse, to join us on the bima. As they make their way forward, I invite us all to rise as we are able. Ribono Shel Olam, creator of the universe, we gather on this beautiful Shabbat afternoon to come together as a community, as a family, in celebration of not only Shabbat, but of a young man in our midst who joins with the link of tradition that spans over 4,000 years. Our hearts are overflowing with joy and gratitude this day, and we are grateful to you for all the blessings with which you have bestowed upon us. We are grateful as well that we come from a variety of different faith streams and come together at a sense of oneness, acknowledging the one God, creator of all life, source of all being. We have experienced you in many different ways and have heard you in 1,000 different tongues. And we, your children, have responded to your call to find and to create holiness in the world around us. As we gather on this day, may the feelings of love and joy and peace that fill this sanctuary go with us when our service has concluded. May we take those feelings into the week ahead, and may we know that we live in your presence all the days of our lives. As we celebrate on this Shabbat, we are grateful to you and praise your holy name. And let us say, Amen. We may be seated. I invite Jay and Jeannie Finkelstein for a special presentation.
Blessings for the presentation of the Talit. As we begin to lead our congregation, Joseph, in prayer, we present you with the Talit, the prayer shawl worn by service leaders throughout the long and proud history of the Jewish people. We read in the Talmud, "May you live to see your world fulfilled. May your destiny be for worlds yet to come. May you trust in generations past and yet to be.
May your heart be filled with intuition. May words within insight. May song of praise ever be on your tongue and vision on your straight path before you. May your eyes shine with the light of holy words and your face reflect the glory of heaven. We are both so proud of you
as you begin
this sacred day. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu lahatirat batzitzit.
Joseph, just a few words to live by that have been passed down to us. When entrusted with a secret, keep it.
Hold your heroes to a higher standard.
Play with passion, or don't play at all.
Always thank a veteran.
Eat lunch with the new kid.
Manners make the man.
Give credit, take the blame.
Always protect your sibling.
Be confident and humble at the same time.
Call and visit your parents. They will miss you.
The healthiest relationships are those where you're a team, where you respect, protect, and stand up for each other.
May your eyes see the best in all people. May your mouth speak wisely. May your hands reach out to others. May your feet run to do good deeds.
May you have the patience to learn and the spirit to be playful. May you have the will to imagine and the freedom to dream.
May your life be long and happy. May your good name shine. May tradition show you the way. May you find your place in the world.
May there be love in your heart and a smile on your face. May your days be filled with promise and wonder. May you always feel our presence.
And imagine this tallis
to be our arms around you.
May God grant you peace. We love you, Joseph. We're so proud of you.
So I want to make a special presentation. Some very close friends of the family, Nancy and Chuck Soltis, and Chuck is here to represent the family. Presented Joseph with these fabulous talit holders. So we'll just take a moment to put them on the talit, and then we'll let Joseph carry on the service today.
And they have chais on them, which mean to life.
They're beautiful.
They are beautiful. Always wear them in the best of health. We love you.
No more kisses from me.
As I wrap myself in the talit, I fulfill the mitzvah of my Creator. Bless Adonai, O my soul, Adonai my God, how great you are. You are robed in glory and majesty, wrapping yourself in light as in a garment, spreading forth the heavens like a curtain. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kichanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef batzisit. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, source of all being, who calls us to holy acts through mitzvot, and inspires us to wrap ourselves in the fringes. Our service continues on page 66.
Take a deep breath. Thanks.
Each of us enters this sanctuary with a different need. Some hearts are full of peace and gratitude, overflowing with love and joy. They are eager to confront the day to make the world a better place. They are recovering from illness or have escaped misfortune. We rejoice with them. Some hearts ache with sorrow. Disappointments weigh heavily upon them. Families have been broken. Loved ones lie on a bed of pain. Death has taken a cherished loved one. May our presence and caring bring them comfort. Some hearts are embittered, ideals betrayed and mocked, answers sought in vain. Life has lost its meaning and value. May the knowledge that we too are searching restore their hope and renew our faith. Our service continues on page 75. May the one whose spirit is with us in every righteous deed be with all who work for the good of humanity and bear the burdens of others, and who give bread to the hungry, who clothe the naked, and take the friendliness into their homes. May the work of their hands endure, and may the seed they sow bring abundant harvest. Our service continues on page 79. Matter is never destroyed, only transformed. So too can the soul evolve, higher and higher, from instinct to inspiration, haughtiness to holiness, selfishness to service, from individualism to union, to join with the souls of soul, the Infinite One. As the soul is magnified and sanctified, so is the Infinite One exalted. Baruch atah Adonai, asher bayomnu nefesh kol chai, v'ruach kol basar ish. Our service continues on page 81. We continue responsively. I can stay the tears of others if I can see myself as diminished of their sorrows.
I can hasten time when everyone will be able to rejoice in freedom.
And if I can't seem myself as the companion of those fighting against oppression,
I can honor the struggle of people everywhere to gain dignity and deliverance from bondage.
when I look at myself in the mirror, who will I see? Our service continues on page 85. We continue responsively. I am a Jew because my faith demands of me no abdiction of the mind.
I am a Jew because the faith of Israel requires all the devotion of my heart.
I am a Jew because in every place where suffering weeps, the Jew weeps.
I am a Jew because at every time when despair cries out, the Jew hopes.
I am a Jew because the world of the people, Israel, is the oldest and the newest.
I am a Jew because Israel's promise is the universal promise.
I am a Jew because for Israel, the world is not completed. We are completing it.
I am a Jew because for Israel, humanity is not created. We are creating it.
I am a Jew because Israel places humanity and its unity above the nations and above Israel itself.
I am a Jew because above humanity, image of the divine unity, Israel places the unity which is divine.
Our service continues on page 87. We, seekers of God, how do we find you? In good deeds and in the study of Torah and your search for us. You find us in the bending of the knee, in the rigor of study, in the honesty of commerce, through a good heart, through decency, in respect, true fellowship, companionship, and love, through truth and peace, in the no that is really no, and in the yes that is really yes. Baruch Tata Adonai HaMolech Torah La'amo Yisrael. Our service continues on page 100. No.
That one.
Our service continues on page 225.
Say that phrase again.
225. Hallelujah. Praise God in God's sanctuary. No. That makes sense. There are times when the love of God burns so powerfully within your heart that the words of prayer seem to rush forth quickly and without deliberation. At such times, it is not you yourself who speak. Rather, it is through you that the words are spoken.
Yitgadol v'yitkadash shemei Rabba Amen. Be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayetachol beit Yisrael. Agal קדושה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן ביורה ואמרו אמן.
To prepare us for our time of prayer, on page 226, our cantor will lead us in a melody, words that repeat. I invite us to sit comfortably for a while, perhaps even close your eyes if you would like. Let the words and the melody bring us into this time of prayer. Often we view prayer like a vending machine, say the right prayer and get the expected result. Judaism teaches us that prayer is much more complicated than that. It is a reflexive verb and means to measure oneself. We measure ourselves against the prayers that we are about to share. We speak about Abraham and Sarah, who lived over 4,000 years ago, a time of tremendous uncertainty, a time of tremendous violence, a time when death was literally just a step away. Young children died in infancy. Mothers often died delivering children, and you never knew when a king or an emperor was going to come in and invade and slaughter the menfolk. That was their generation. Yet they had tremendous faith that tomorrow would be a better day. And so we likewise challenge ourselves, we who live in relative safety and security and comfort. How is our faith in tomorrow being a better day? And we pray for peace, and likewise ask ourselves, what are we doing to bring peace into the world? For if we harbor hatred and resentment in our hearts, there will be no peace in the world. And so, in Hebrew, we measure ourselves against the words that we are about to share. But we begin with words of praise. May every time we open our lips, may the words that come out of our mouth be words of compassion, words of love, and words of gentleness.
Adonai, Eloheinu, Velohei Avotini v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Hanorah, El Elyon Gomel Hasavim Tovim Venekane Hakol Bezoher Hashi Avot V'imahot Uvivin Hulam Uvnebnehem Shalom Shemo Bahava Melech Hosira Umashira Umagin Baruch Atah Adonai Elohim Avraham Vetzrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Le'oshia Mori HaTol Mechayel Ha'im Pefesed Mechaye HaKol Berachim Rahim Somech Neroflim Verohe Olim Umatir Asarim Umahaye Eminato Lishene Afa Michamocha B'Gevorot Numli Dom Lela Melech Mimid Umahaye Ematir Meheshua V'ne'emanata U'ayunatako Baruch Atah Adonai Mechaye HaKol. We continue responsively. Your might, O God, is everlasting. Help us to use our strength for good and not evil.
You are the source of life and blessing. Help us to choose life for ourselves and our children.
You are the support of the falling. Help us to lift up the fallen.
You are the author of freedom. Help us to free the captive.
You are our hope in death as in life. Help us to keep faith with those who sleep in the dust.
Your might, O God, is everlasting. Help us to use our strength for good.
For blessing and not for curse, for life and not death, for abundance, not want. Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechaye HaKol.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וכרז אל זה ויאמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני קדושתך נקדיש קדוש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני
Please be seated. We continue, our service continues on the top of page 233. How shall we sanctify God's name? By being holy ourselves. How do we accomplish this? Let our prayers bring us to sacred deed, to actions that promote justice, harmony, and peace. We continue on the bottom of page 234. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imnutenu motzei binu hatenu kadshenu b'mitzvotecha v'tein helkenu b'mitzvotecha sabenu mituvecha v'samchenu b'shuatecha v'toher benu la'ovtecha be'emet v'chan hilenu Adonai Eloheinu Ba'ahava uvratzon Shabbat kodshecha Yanuhu va Yisrael Makadesh Macha Baruch atah Adonai Makadesh HaShabbat. We continue responsively on the bottom of page 235. For the good in us, which calls us to a better life, we give thanks.
For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and hands, we give praise.
For the peace in us, which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful.
For the gift of Shabbat, which renews for life, we offer blessing. Baruch
Atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Ratzei Adonai Eloheinu Ba'amcha Yisrael Utefilatam Ba'ahava Tekabel Utehi L'Ratzon Tamid Avodat Yisrael Amecha Baruch Atah Adonai Hazir Shechina Tov L'Tzion. We continue on the bottom of the next page responsively. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer to life, to peace, and to joy.
May we find true rest, holiness in our deeds, worth in our study of Torah.
Let us feed on the love of goodness. Let us drink from the love of goodness. Restrain our thirst for excess and cleanse our hearts to serve life well.
On this holy Shabbat, may we draw near in life and peace and in joy.
Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadcha ba'yira na'avod. We continue on page 239. For the gift of our souls, for the promise of our lives, for all we are and all we might yet become, for the creative seeds sown within our minds, whose nurturing can yield a grand harvest. For all these gifts, we thank you, O God, and pray that we prove ourselves worthy. We read together. May our lives be ripe with the fruit of compassion, sweetly sustaining those in need. May we use our gifts wisely and with love, true messengers of blessing to the world. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulcha na'el lahodot. We continue on the next page. Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people forever. For you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people Israel in every season and moment with your peace. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hatorah et amo Yisrael, Ashemo.
One of the highlights of a Shabbat worship service is what we are about to share in next, which is the reading of the Torah, wrestling with the text. The Torah, the 5 books of Moses, as we will hear in a moment, is something that Joseph has been studying and is going to read from and deliver a sermon, a drash, a thought for us today. We are challenged to wrestle with our words of Torah. The Torah is not always clear in what it is trying to communicate. Some of the words in the Hebrew we no longer know how to translate, and so we do the best job we can. Other words have been horribly translated and have worked their way into our belief and understanding about the Torah and about the Bible, but in such a way that it distorts the original Hebrew. For instance, women, which part of the human body were you taught from the various translations that you were created from? From Adam's rib. The Hebrew word is side. When you read it in the Hebrew original, the word is side, not just the rib. But when the Torah was translated from Hebrew into Greek, the Greeks were much more even male dominated than even the Jews were at that time. And they didn't like the implication of woman coming from this human's side. And so it is translated as rib. and from there, from the Greek translation into the Latin, and from the Latin into the other languages. And so when we read in the Hebrew, we find a great variety of understandings. Indeed, our rabbis have argued about the same verse for the last 2,000 plus years, and many of them disagreed with each other about what they thought the verse meant. That debate, that discussion, that wrestling with the text is part of what Judaism is all about. To bring us into our time of reading of the Torah, we are going to invite family members to join us here as we not only figuratively but actually pass the Torah from generation to generation to Joseph. And so I invite Nathan and Jale Grossman, great uncle and great aunt, to join us. Also Alex and Chrissy Horowitz, Joseph's parents, as well as Joseph. And to assist in a moment after that, let's go ahead and invite up Chris, Tara, and Lexi Brattain to join us here as well. That way we will be all assembled. Come. I'm sorry, yes, go right ahead.
It's Chaim Hila Machazikim Labetumcheha Maushar. It's Chaim Hila Machazikim Labetumcheha Maushar. Shalom, 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 shalom.
Please rise as you are able.
Shalom, shalom. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom.
Joseph, we are about to transfer to you our most treasured possession, the Torah scroll. But this particular Torah scroll is even all the more special. This is an orphan Torah scroll. During World War II, the Nazis tried to eradicate Judaism from all of Europe. Millions perished through hatred. At the end of the war, a warehouse was discovered in Prague. And in that warehouse was discovered ritual items that the Nazis had collected in hopes of doing something with them, a museum perhaps, or maybe even selling them. These items were tagged, and amongst them were over 2,500 Torah scrolls who had no home to go back to. The community that once read from them had all been murdered. The communities that once studied them and celebrated with those Torah scrolls had perished by the Nazi hatred. And so the great synagogue in London acted as an orphanage for those 2,500 Torah scrolls, and Jewish congregations throughout the world adopted them. This is one of those orphan Torah scrolls. Survived the Holocaust, the Shoah, in a warehouse in Prague, and now has a home here in La Mirada, where we read from it and celebrate with that very Torah, giving life to that community from Bavaria who no longer exist, although their memory is with us. This special Torah is one we are going to pass down to you from generation to generation, joining you, Joseph, with all of those who have read and studied Torah for thousands and thousands of years. You are the next in that link.
Adonai, Mirushalayim. Adonai iti, u'neromema shemo yachdav.
We may be seated. Unfortunately, the orphan Torah, the letters have deteriorated so greatly during its neglect that it is difficult to read from. The letters of the Torah should be as black as the letters you see on the pages in our books. Many of the letters are even missing off of that Torah, which makes it challenging to read from. So instead, although Joseph has given life to that community and carried the Torah here in Temple Beth Or in La Mirada, the Torah he reads from is a much prettier writing. It's much easier to read from, even for a bar mitzvah, even for rabbis. Sorry. To introduce the Torah reading, I invite Rachel Finkelstein, cousin, to come and to share an introduction about the Torah and the Torah portion.
One of the major components of a Jewish worship service is the reading of the Torah, the 5 books of Moses. It is both a duty and an honor to be called to read from Torah and to share in that reading by reciting the blessings before and after the reading of the Torah. The Torah is divided into portions, so it is read in its entirety each year. This week's Torah portion, called Imor, is found in the book of Leviticus and encompasses chapters 21 through 24. Like nearly all of Leviticus, this portion presents itself as taking place in the Sinai wilderness in the Israelite camp. We are told that there, in their sanctuary, the tabernacle, God conveyed instructions to their leader Moses. The purpose of the rules is to enable the people to maintain a close and ongoing relationship with God. The Torah portion in More consists almost entirely of divine teachings from Moses' sessions with God. It features not only the priestly concerns, but also the Israelite calendar of special days, the 7 biblical holidays: Shabbat, Passover, Shavuot, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Shmini Atzeret. Near its end, the portion also briefly relates a fight that took place in the camp and the punishment meted out to one who blasphemes God.
Two more things. One techie thing. We have thanks to Philip Carey and his technical genius, we have Rabbi Cam, which you will be able to see in the video, the actual text that Joseph will be reading from the Torah. In addition to reading from the Torah, I'm sorry?
Turn off your microphone.
Oh.
On the phone?
How's that? Look, it's a lot to remember up here, okay? I have all these papers, I have all these names, I have all these things. And so, fortunately, we will be able to see the video. You'll be able to see what Joseph is reading. However, in your booklets, you will also get a decent idea, because there, although printed in lovely, clear computer font, is what the Hebrew sort of looks like in the Torah. It's very close. As it's handwritten, each scribe is printed a little differently. It's Hebrew calligraphy. So, in addition to reading from the Torah and the honor of reading from the Torah, there is the honor of doing the blessing over the reading of the Torah, the Aliyah. Ya'amdu Rishon. We invite for our first Aliyah, Roberta Seiler and George Poltz, great aunt and uncle. See, a few more hands. There we go. Okay. Right, if you all will stand over there. Okay. All right. Did you find? You find it? Bring your yada. Keep going. Keep going. Yep, that should be it. Okay.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amin V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Vadaber Adonai el Moshe Lemor, Daber el Bnei Israel, Varmata Alehem. Modeh Adonai Asher Tikra'u Otam, Mikra'e Kodesh Elohim Modai. Sheshet Yamim Ta'aseh, Malaka Uvayom Hashvi'i Shabbat Shabbaton, Mikra Kodesh. Kol melecha lo ta'asu. Shabbat hi l'Adonai b'chol moshotehem.
Great.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lana Torah hanet v'chayei olam nata b'totchenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Good job.
And if you'll come stand over here, please. Come stand right over here. Yalmod Sheni, we invite for our second Aliyah, Rich Weiss, cousin.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amin v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yep.
Ele Modeh Adonai Mikra Kodesh Asher Tikra'u Otam B'Moadam B'Chodesh Harishon B'Arba'a Asar LaChodesh Ben Ha'arbayim Pesa L'Adonai וחמישה עשר יום לחודש הזה חג המצות לאדוני שבעת ימים מצות תאכלו.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's okay. Yes, your call. Yes, nicely done. Ya'amdu Shlishi Yavarech al Torah. We invite for our third Aliyah parents Alex and Chrissy Horowitz. Okay.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Bayom harishon mikra kodesh, yihye lechem chol melechet avodah lo ta'asu. V'hikravtem ishe ladonai shivat yamim bayom hashvi'i mikra kodesh, chol melechet avodah lo ta'asu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And Rich, thank you very much. Thank you.
You made it through. You made it through.
You guys can stand over there. Ya'amod, 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 Mordechai Yosef ben Yitzchak Eliyahu v'Krisi la'aliyah leTorah, haBahar Mitzvah. We invite for our fourth and final aliyah this morning, our bar mitzvah, Joseph Horowitz. Hold on, Joseph.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvarah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Am I? Yep.
Trade sides here, and okay.
Vadaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Israel varmata alechem, ki tavou el haaretz asher ani noten lechem, uksartem et katsirach, v'chavitem et omer reshit, katsirachem el hakohen, v'hinif et ha-omer lifnei Adonai lirtzonechem mimacharat hashabat. Yinifenu hakohen v'asitem bayom hanifchem et ha-omer keves tamim shanato leolam ladonai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam natan betolhenu baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
To help us with the redressing of the Torah, I invite Nick and Elise Oleksak. Hope I didn't butcher that one too badly. Oleksak. And Sarah Donahue, cousins, as well as Cameron Taunton, friend who will be holding the Torah. As they make their way forward, I invite us all to rise as we are able, as Joseph and I hold the Torah high for all to see. Hard getting him off. We may be seated. To introduce the Haftarah and the reading of the additional reading, I invite Jillian Finkelstein, cousin, to share with us an introduction.
The custom of reading Haftorah is quite old, though its beginnings can only be surmised. One theory suggests that when the Greek-Syrian rulers forbade the teaching of Torah over 2,000 years ago, readings from the prophets were read instead. The selection was determined by a thematic link between the weekly Torah portion and that of the prophets. The Torah portion, Emor, lists many details about how the Israelite priests were to conduct themselves, not only in the tabernacle and the later temple built by Solomon, but in their daily and personal lives as well. These included not coming into contact with a corpse, who the Israelite priests could marry, and physical conditions that could prohibit an individual from serving as an Israelite priest. The Haftorah verses selected from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 44, is devoted to the status, practices, and privileges of the Israelite priesthood. The prophet Ezekiel lived in the early 6th century BCE and was among the Israelites who were exiled by King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. He had been a priest in the Jerusalem temple before it was destroyed. By describing in great detail the serve in a new temple that would be built after their return to Jerusalem, he reinforced the people's hope that this would happen in their lifetime.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Praise to you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who has chosen faithful prophets to speak words of truth. Praise to you, Adonai, for the revelation of Torah, for your servant Moses, for your people Israel, and for prophets of truth and righteousness. The Kohanim, who are descendants of Zadok, are to teach my people the difference between holy and common, and enable them to distinguish between clean and unclean. They are to be judges in controversies, and they are to render decisions in keeping with my rulings. At all my designated festivals, they are to keep my laws and regulations. and they are to keep my Shabbats holy. They are not to come in to any dead person, because this would make them unclean. However, for father, mother, son, daughter, brother, or sister who has had no husband, they may make themselves unclean. After a Kohen has been purified, he is to wait 7 days. Then, on the day he enters the sanctuary, when he goes into the inner courtyard to minister in the sanctuary, he is to offer his sin offering, says the eternal God. Their inheritance is to be this: I myself am the inheritance. You are not to grant them any possession in Israel. I myself am their possession. They are to eat the grain offerings, sin offerings, and guilt offerings, and everything in Israel devoted will be theirs. The first of all, the first fruits of everything, and every voluntary contribution of everything from all your offerings will be for the Kohanim. You are also to give the Kohen the first of your dough, so that a blessing will rest on your house. The Kohanim are not to eat anything, bird or animal, that dies naturally or is torn to death. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Praise to you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, rock of all creation, righteous one of all generations, the faithful God, whose word is deed, who creates by speaking, whose every command is just and true. For the Torah, for the privileges of worship, for the prophets, and for this Shabbat, that you, Adonai our God, has given us for holiness and rest, for honor and glory, for everything, Adonai our God, we thank and bless you. May your name be blessed forever by every living being. Praise to you, Adonai, for the Shabbat and its holiness. Good afternoon, everyone. My Torah portion covers the instructions for Pesach, also known as Passover for the Israelites. In the Torah, we learn that God has set celebrations for appointed seasons in which the children of Israel will attend. Passover is a major Jewish holiday that lasts for 7 days. Passover is celebrated in memory of the Israelites escaping from Egypt. God has sent word to them that the angel of death would take the firstborn male child in each house unless the doorposts were marked with the blood of a slaughtered lamb. If the Jewish house was marked in that way, the angel of death would then pass over them, hence the name Passover. On the evening of the 15th day of the first month, Nisan, the holiday of Passover begins. On the first day of Passover, no work shall be done, for the Israelites were commanded to make an offering by fire to God. Then the feast of matzah begins. Matzah! We shall eat matzah for 7 days. Matzah, oi. We eat matzah in memory of the unleavened bread that the Israelites had to eat because they left Egypt in such a hurry that they couldn't wait for the bread to rise. Also, on the 7th day of Passover, you shall do no work. So basically, you get a little vacation. Thanks, God. Passover is my favorite holiday because it brings family members together, who in some cases I haven't seen in a long time. It begins with a Seder meal, and we each take turns reading the Haggadah. And anyone who knows me knows how much I love reading. Not. But I do love the telling of the story, and I do love sitting with my friends, family, and my temple family, sharing the most delicious meal of the year. Thanks, Ellie, and all of Seder committee. Angels, this year, World Series. Right. Also, my parents get to enjoy a day without work to be with family and friends. But the reason that I could think of is that I don't have to do my homework that night. Okay, Rabbi wanted me to explain the Seder plate. Who here knows what items are on the Seder plate? More people? Okay. Who here knows what, leave your hand up if you also know what each item means. I was expecting less. For those of you that don't know, I'm happy to teach you. The Seder plate represents the plagues and also the miracles that God performed for the Israelites. The shank bone, Hebrew name Zeroah, the sacrificial lamb, which represents the blood that the Israelites had to smear on their doorpost so that the angel of death would pass over their homes. The serious lesson of this portion is to be faithful and listen to God because you don't want to mess with the angel of death. Maror is a horseradish, and Hazaret is a romaine lettuce leaf, which are the bitter herbs. They are supposed to burn, so we share our ancestors' pain as they were slaves. Beitzah, the hard-boiled egg, which symbolizes the mourning over the destruction of our temple. Also, hope and prayer for the future. Karpas, English name parsley, which represents the initial flourishing of the Israelites in Egypt before they were enslaved, which we dip in salt water to represent the tears that were shed. Haroset, my favorite of the Seder plate. Who's with me? A sweet taste of apples, nuts, and wine that represent the mortar used by the Israelites to make bricks while enslaved. You all did such a good job listening about the Seder plate. I hope you learned something new. While studying my Torah portion, I was interested in why our rabbis asked, why do the Israelites have to smear the blood on the doorpost? Doesn't Adonai know which homes belong to the Israelites? I thought about it and discussed it thoroughly with Rabbi, and I realized one reason might be that it brought the family members together in one home. The fear of the angel of death brought them together. The Israelites might have been feeling confused. On the one hand, they are leaving their home, they are leaving Egypt, where they've lived for 400 years. Egypt had become home, although not a nice place for Israelites as slaves, but still, it was home. On the other hand, they thought to themselves, we are saving ourselves and our children and giving our future generations a chance for a better life. In my opinion, Moses was one of the greatest Jewish leaders. As Moses, I would have encouraged the Israelites not to carry all of their belongings with them out from Egypt, but focus on food as a priority item, as people are not replaceable, but certain items are. I would then split up the food evenly between family members and encourage everyone to take minimal items other than food because they would have to run before Pharaoh changed his mind. Literally, run. This was the first of many times in our Jewish history where we had to run from persecution. So my Torah portion is about the night the angel of death smited the firstborn, which finally broke Pharaoh enough to let us go. And every year we are commanded to remember and tell the story to our children. As I grow from a child to a man, I look to the ones before me for lessons of wisdom. Speaking of wisdom, the wisest person I know, I would like to thank my mother for taking me to this great temple and always nagging me to finish my Hebrew work. You're going to need those tissues. But seriously, Mom, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. My mom has always been there for me, and I want you to know, Mom, that I understand and I also appreciate how much you devote your life to me, my sister, and my dad, and also Shelby. I love you, Mom. I would also like to thank my dad for always helping me through encouraging me to do my best and always doing fun things. By assisting me through life, he introduced me to all of you guys. Thanks, Dad, for being a great role model in what it means to be a man. You treat everyone with respect. And you are loving to me and our whole family. If I grow up to be half the man you are, I'd be doing great. Jackie. Boy, my first memory was of you holding me in your arms. You are my big sister, 12 years older than me. I kid you not, memories of us as siblings have definitely been the most interesting. From our fun songs about Kitty, my stuffed animal, to roasting Mom and Dad together. You have always had my back, and I will always have yours. But please wear your seatbelt. I love you, Jackie. You're the best sister a brother could ever have. I would also like to thank the rest of my family who came from near and far. I promise to go into more detail about each of you at the reception. Just know for now that I love you all. Thank you so much, Rabbi, for teaching me the nature of Judaism, for having patience with my schedule and always making yourself so available to me when I needed help. Thank you, Cantor, for providing a beautiful example of how to sing. The Hebrew wouldn't be as interesting without your songs. Alyssa, wherever you are. Thank you so much for spending your summer vacation to study Hebrew with me. How did I do? I still can't believe I learned to read a whole other language. And lastly, but definitely not least, I'd like to thank my friends from Temple, school, and baseball for coming to support me today. They say you can't pick your family. You shouldn't pick your nose, but you can pick your friends, and I pick great ones. Love you guys.
I'll take one. All right. Go ahead. You go first. Go ahead.
Joseph.
Wait. You have to stand up here. There you go.
Do you remember the old video that we watched the other day? You were little, and we were talking about the flies and what flies land on before they land on your food.
I'm going to need a tissue.
It seems like a silly talk, but you were only 4, and you were listening. All of our talks were not always silly, and there have been many of them throughout the years. All of these little talks that we've had will all add up one day soon. All I can hope for you is that you grow into the man you're going to be. You remember our talks, because they were intentional on my part, to give you tools to put in your toolbox and take with you into this big world. I love you more than words can express. Although you're figuring things out more on your own now, I have a feeling that you and I will still have our talks. You have worked hard to get to this day, and I'm so very proud of you. For all that you've accomplished, you've impressed me beyond words. I love you.
Need another one?
Mine's very short and sweet. To my sweet little brother, I'm so proud of the young man you've become, and I look forward to watching. Cry. Okay, I look forward to watching you continue to grow and to see all of the things that you will accomplish in your life. I know you're going to do great things. You make me so proud to be your sister every single day, and especially in this moment. You're my brother, my best friend, and I love you so much.
Love you too.
And I'll wear my seatbelt more often for you.
Thank you.
I love you.
Joseph.
That's not good.
I just wanted to start off by saying that being proud of you, we're proud of you. But any time that you decide to do something, you don't just try it, you don't just kind of dabble in it, you just go for it. I'll give you the example of baseball. Some kids, they play a little bit of baseball. I want to be catcher. I want to be catcher all the games. I mean, it's one of the hardest positions that you can be. I want to kind of work on and play with and drive a tractor. How about a 1957 tractor that's 3 levels of gears that most people can't even operate? How about trying to do the most difficult things that you can possibly do? That's what you do. You go for it. You live life. And I want to thank you for being able to see life these last 13 years through your eyes. And it's been awesome. Give me a second. I've got more. you remember saying to me, Dad, you were bar mitzvahed? Yes. Your dad was bar mitzvahed? Yes. Your grandfather was bar mitzvahed? And Joseph said, you said, I don't want to break the chain. And you said, hey, Dad, I need you to make some phone calls and find me a temple. I want to join a congregation, and I want to have my bar mitzvah, and I want to be a Jewish man. And you blew me away. And so I immediately got on the phone, and I talked to this wonderful rabbi who's here, thank you so much, and a fantastic cantor, beautiful voice. And you're here, but you're going for it all the way. You haven't had as many years as most people have had to study for a bar mitzvah, and you did an awesome job, just like everything you do in your life. Joseph, you are going to become a man that does fantastic things for not just yourself, but for people around you. You're very generous. You're very caring. You care about children. You care about the elderly. You care about the sick. And you want to change this world, and you want to make it a better place. And I applaud you. And I'm going to support you. We're going to support you. And we're just extremely proud of you. When Joseph, and again, I need to talk to you about how proud I am of you, but when you do things, you look people in the eye, you're fair with people, you're honest with people, and you're caring, and you're extremely gentle. And I just want to say that I'm so, so proud of you. I love you very much, and congratulations.
We prepare to return the Torah back to the Ark. I invite us to turn in our prayer books to page 256. On the top of page 256, Yalalu et Shem Adonai ki nishkav shemo levado. Let us praise the name of Adonai, for God's name alone is exalted. I invite us to rise as we are able. Continue on the bottom of page 257 as we read responsively. When Torah entered the world, freedom entered it. The whole Torah exists only to establish peace. That's okay. That is the whole Torah. All the rest is commentary. Now go and learn it. Those who study Torah are the true guardians of civilization. Let us learn in order to teach. Let us learn in order to do.
Shine.
Cantor and I would like to share with you and your family a special blessing, one of the oldest blessings we have in our tradition. It is the words with which God instructed Moses and Aaron to bless the children of Israel. It is the priestly benediction found in the book of Leviticus. Recently, on an archaeological dig in Israel, there was a very tiny silver rolled-up coil, piece of silver. When they unrolled this coil, silver, and dated it, they dated it to the 600s BCE, and what is written on that piece of silver is these very words that we are about to share for you and your family. Blessed and protected by God. May you always know that you live in God's presence, and may your hearts be filled with shalom. And the world around you in each other's eyes, the eyes of your friends and family. And may your hearts be filled with compassion, with love, and with shalom. Shalom, shalom, v'yasem lecha shalom, v'yasem lecha So, how are you feeling?
Good.
It was all right, huh?
Yeah.
It's not too bad. You did what is often described as being one of the scariest things that terrifies most people, standing in front of a group of people and speaking and reading and doing things. Well done. You did a fantastic job, Joseph. It has been a pleasure studying with you and working with you on your Torah portion and on your drash. Passover is one of my favorite holidays, too. Although I know it says you're not supposed to work, but you know what? There's an awful lot of work to get ready for Passover and to pull off a Seder meal. Nonetheless, it is indeed an awful lot of fun. And you were quick to point out the whole idea of that blood on the doorpost. Fortunately, we don't do that anymore. Originally, the Seder plate was probably the origins of rather spontaneous questions about the Passover experience. Here you are at a fine dining affair, and on the center plate is a burnt lamb bone, charred. There is, sprigs of parsley that we eat. Ew. There's lifeless flat matzah stuff, which you so adequately and accurately described, that is there, and not those soft, cushy rolls. When you go out to a nice dinner, it's those soft, cushy rolls. No, there's this flat. And then we eat that horseradish, wasabi or whatever, so that we can actually start to gasp and tear up. Originally, these were the would lead to spontaneous questions. Why in the world are we doing this? And then in the asking of those questions, the answers would then come. Those are now recorded for us in the Haggadah. But it's believed that they were at one time rather spontaneous. The rabbis, in creating the Seder meal, wanted to create an opportunity for people to learn, but not so much in your face that you would then immediately switch off, because if your parents said, come, let's sit down and have a really nice dinner and we're going to teach you things, well, there you go. So we don't do that. Instead, come, let's have a nice meal. And then you go, well, why is there this burnt bone and why are we gasping on this horseradish? And then the story emerges. And so the rabbis created this originally to be rather spontaneous. Lots of questions would come. Indeed, questions, according to our rabbis, is the measurement of freedom. How free you are depends upon who you can question and what kinds of questions you can ask. So in Judaism, we should not be surprised to find that our ancestors asked questions of God. Moses and Abraham both questioned God. I'm not aware of too many religions that say it's okay to question the deity and not expect a lightning bolt or something to hit you. And yet, in our Torah, Abraham challenges God and questions God, and Moses does the same thing. Kind of like you did during many of our sessions together, asking questions about things. But that just goes to show how much you are part of this tradition and this religion, and how much it is a part of you. So the asking of questions. Our rabbis ask a real big one. Why did they have to smear the blood on the doorpost? Surely God would know which houses were the Israelites. And I like your idea about getting everybody together under one roof. Look, it was going to be a terrifying moment, and yes, you want to beware of the angel of death. And so let's get everybody inside and let's have them do something and do that inside. The rabbis take it one step further. The rabbis take it to be an instruction about what the future of Judaism is going to be. Judaism is a religion that is measured not by your beliefs, but by your deeds. Judaism is a religion of deed far more than creed. It is what you do that matters. And your father has spoken about many of the things that you do, the do-do that you do. If I might go back to that fly, I'm going to have that image in my head now for the rest of the day. Thanks, Chrissy. And so it's the doing that emphasizes. And the rabbis realize that at this point, the Israelites have done nothing to earn their freedom. Indeed, all they've done has been complain to Moses. Pharaoh's making us now pick our own straw, Moses. It'd be better if you just shut up and let us be slaves. And so the rabbis understand that when God asked the Israelites to do this, it was so that they had to do something to earn it. When you turned 13, you were already bar mitzvah. That happens when you're 13. However, you chose, like the Israelites, to do something about it. It wasn't just going to be a 13th birthday. It was going to be a ceremony demonstrating your accomplishments and your place in this community. You're able to read Hebrew. You're able to read from the Torah. Yes, you have learned a foreign language. It is a foreign language. Unfortunately, you won't get credit for it in schools. That's because they don't have enough Hebrew teachers there to verify that you're not just speaking gibberish. But you now know Hebrew, you can read the language of our people, and you can wrestle with the words of our Torah. This is what it means to be a bar mitzvah. It means to wrestle. It means to struggle. It means to do. This is what it means to be a Jew, and you've done an excellent job of it. It's been a pleasure working with you and studying with you, but we have lots who want to be able to also acknowledge your accomplishments. I invite our president, David Youngman. I invite our president of Brotherhood, David Sane, representing Sisterhood, Karen Youngman, representing our education committee, Dana Porter, and representing Bolte, the Beth Or La Mirada Temple Youth Group. I invite Hannah Youngman to join us here. Okay. All right. It's a whole family.
Joseph, Mazal Tov, Yesh Koach, good luck, you have strength, that's good. As president of Temple Beth Or, I'd like to thank you for choosing Temple Beth Or for your congregation to be bar mitzvahed, and I expect 5 stars on Yelp, okay? There's an old Yiddish word, it's called nachis, or nachat in Hebrew. Maybe some of you know that word. It means great joy and pride that usually children bring to their parents. And I truly see that you have brought great joy, great nachas to your family. Congratulations, Mazel Tov. Now, a few things that I would like to give you. First, this is the formal certificate, so if anybody's wondering if you were bar mitzvahed, you could show them this. I signed it, the rabbi signed it, a bunch of witnesses, the school. This is for you to put on the wall.
Thank you.
Also, every year, I'm sure you've heard of it, Tu B'Shvat, in Israel, they plant trees. Well, right now there's going to be a tree, hopefully with your name on it. Hopefully, but they are going to plant. So here's your certificate. They're going to plant a tree in Israel in your name. So when you go to Israel, look for your tree. And you're the first bar mitzvah boy this year who is going to actually get the high holiday Sidurim. You're going to get it. We have 2 books here. We got the silver one for Yom Kippur, and we have the gold one for Rosh Hashanah. I use the Kindle version, but don't tell anybody. But here's the official thing for you from the temple. Mazel Tov. You're welcome.
Hi, Joseph. Welcome to the tribe. You did a great job. You know, I was thinking, right now there's a big push in the schools for character, good character. And I was thinking the top 3 that you've hit everyone. One being persistent, compassionate, and above all, respectful. And it shows through your family and through your deeds, and we're so proud of you. So on behalf of Temple Beth Or, Women of Reformed Judaism, we have a little something that you can wear to show that you are truly a member of the tribe.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Joseph, I would first like to say congratulations on a job well done.
Thank you.
Second, I would like to thank you for making the choice not to break the chain. It has allowed you and your family's paths to bring you to Temple Beth Or. You have fantastic parents. You're a fantastic child, and I'm just so glad that you guys are here. On behalf of the Education Committee, we are presenting you with a study Torah. You did a wonderful job telling us all about Passover. Hopefully you can use this Torah, study up a little more, and teach everybody a little bit something else. Mazel tov. Let me add it to your pile.
Joseph, congratulations. I love to see a little personality up here. It's really terrific. This is a Kiddush cup, which the Brotherhood gives to all bar mitzvahs, and it's to be used at Passover, so that you can remember the sweet time you had with your family today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Joseph.
Hi.
So I'm giving you this Bulti certificate, and it's just welcoming you to our Beth Or La Mirada Temple Youth, and also NIFTY, which is National Federation of Temple Youth. Since you wanted to become a bar mitzvah, you obviously like being Jewish, you want to be Jewish, and I'd really recommend that you continue that on, meet people your age, and I'll be there, so help you out with that. But you did a really good job, and you're really calm about it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And lastly, as far as the certificates go, Joseph, from NIFTY, the North American Federation of Temple Youth, and hopefully something to get you to go find that tree, because they really don't have names, but there are trees planted. As a matter of fact, almost all the trees in Israel have been planted in the last 100 years. Israel is the only country that entered the 21st century with more trees than it had at the end of the 20th century. But to help you on your way, NIFTY has for you a $250 gift certificate to get you on a trip to Israel. This will get you started, okay? A little more will be needed, but the temple is standing by with funds available. The Jewish Federation is standing by with funds available. So when you are ready to make that trip to Israel, we will look to get you even more than the $250 you have to help you get on your way there. And it is my pleasure, I will take these as I invite our cantor up for a final presentation. And you can come stand over here.
Hi, Joseph. Hi. So I noticed when I first met Joseph, I haven't known Joseph as long as the rest of our students here at Temple Beth Or because he joined relatively recently in the interest of his bar mitzvah. And one of the things I noticed, that I'm sure many of you noticed, is that you are very quick with a snappy comeback. One of the other things that was very apparent from the first time I met him was that you are also incredibly polite. Anytime that we had to meet, which often had to happen outside of Temple Beth Or outside of our Hebrew school on Wednesday because this was all very new, we would have to meet via phone or arrange time on Sunday, and you have always been very, very concerned about making sure that that fit with our schedules, that you were not taking too much of our time, even though we are here for you in order to help you move forward. So that was something that really stood out, was not only just your work ethic and your interest in everything, but also how polite you are and how interested you are in being a good human, and that is always very appreciated. It is the tradition at Temple Beth Or for the cantor to give the gift of song, so for you I have a short song in honor of your bar mitzvah. May your eyes shine with the light of Torah, and your face be radiant as the brightness of the sky. May your lips speak words of wisdom, and may the world you live in be the world of your dreams. May you see your world created in your lifetime. May you see your visions come to be. May your hope touch every generation to come. These are the prayers we have for you. May your eyes shine with the light of Torah, and your face be radiant as the brightness of the sky. May your lips speak words of wisdom, and may the world you live in be the world of your dreams. May you be blessed with understanding, with wisdom and compassion in your heart. May your tongue be filled with song and your lips sing out for justice. These are the prayers we have for you. May your eyes shine with the light of Torah, and your face be radiant as the brightness of the sky. May your lips speak words of wisdom, and may the world you live in be the world of your dreams. May the world you live in be the world of your dreams. Mazel tov.
No, no. I'd like to thank our cantor for her beautiful music. I'd like to thank Dr. Ray Irwin for wonderful accompaniment. It's always a pleasure to have you tickling the ivories for us, Dr. Irwin, so thank you very much. Who is going to be performing, is that next week? A week from Sunday at the Laguna Playhouse. No. Sorry, the Presbyterian Church. Yes. We're going to send an email out to the congregation so that I don't have to worry about screwing it up any more than I already have. but we're grateful that you are with us and grateful that you have opportunities to share your talent with lots of other places as well. With that, we move to the conclusion of our worship service. The words of our Aleinu, the adoration, can be found on page 282 in our prayer books. On the bottom of page 282, I invite us to rise as we are able. Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, those who live on in our hearts and our memories, and in the place we call Olam Haba, the world to come. The words to our Kaddish can be found on page 294. As we call to mind one for whom we are observing the Shiva period, the 7-day period since their death, William Reed, the father of Celia Goldstein. If there is a loved one that you are remembering, or a loved one that you would like to include before we recite the Kaddish, I invite you to share that name at this time. To those that we have named aloud, and to those that we keep named in the quiet places of our hearts and memories, we link as well the names and memories of the men and women of our armed forces who have given their lives for our liberties and our freedoms, those who have given their lives for our safety here at home, members of our police, our firefighters, and other first responders, the members of the Israeli Defense Forces who have given their lives for the hope of peace. Zichronam levracha, may their memories always be for a blessing, as we share together the words of our Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru, Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach, le'olam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shemei dekudesha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May all of us who mourn and all of us who are bereaved, may we find through God's presence a source of strength, courage, and hope, and above all, a source of shalom, of peace. And let us all say, Amen. It is also with deep sadness we note the death of Stan Stein, whose funeral will take place Monday afternoon at 12:30 at Mount Sinai Memorial Park. There will be a meal of condolence back here at Temple Beth Or at 3 o'clock on Monday afternoon. Our hearts go out to Lorraine and to all of Stan's family during this difficult time. We conclude our service with the words of a song that is also a lesson. On page 340 in your prayer books for those who would like need the words, but I ask you to balance the book while you put your arms around the shoulder of someone next to you or hold the hands of someone who needs to remain seated. Im tirtzu ein zo agada. If you will it, if you work hard, if you really, really want it to happen, then it is not just a dream. You can make that dream reality, as Joseph has done with his bar mitzvah, turning a dream into reality. The song came about as Israel was fighting for its survival when it was founded 70 years ago this past week. In celebration of Israel, in celebration of Joseph's accomplishment, who will now go join his family, we share together, or actually, go on. Im tirtzu. Yeah, go on. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. All right.